Hello there and welcome, dear viewers, to a brand new episode of your weekly show, New Media. I'm your host, Daij Al-Hoteri. And of course, I will be here with you to talk about cool things and meet new people like every week. So for those people who are new here, New Media, in here we shed the light on everything digital, like social media, websites, applications, different types of media. So we have a gaming segment. I'm pretty sure that you will like it. And also we have got so many cool segments as well. So I suppose today I will explain a little bit about phone calls maybe. So on 1876, Alexander Graham and his helper Thomas made the first phone call. The first long-distance phone call was made from New York to California, and it required 14,000 miles of copper cable and around 130,000 telephone poles to connect to the east to the west. Now, then, the first international call was made between Key West, Florida and Havana, Cuba. Later on, AT&T launches a trans-Pacific phone service initially between the United States and Japan. After that, the middle telephone service was started, and it only had 3 radio channels, and call setup needed manual activation by a mobile operator. The possibility for users to dial long-distance calls is provided in 1951. Previously, all long-distance calls required operator help. So, then, cable networks begin to be used to provide phone service. So, with that being said, now let's continue our episode and we will talk more about the phone calls. And now with the media story. Well, of course, it is about cell phones, but watch this video first.
Before cell phones, there were car phones.
Good morning, Miss McCardle. How did the market open?
In fact, the original car phone weighed about 80 pounds. In 1947, an engineer at Bell Labs envisioned a futuristic phone network for their car phones. A call would bounce uninterrupted between cells of coverage. At the time, the technology and the infrastructure for this did not exist.
There would be no Uber, Lyft, Google Maps, FaceTime, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, iPhone, or even Android phones if the cell phone had not been invented. Someone thankfully did. In 1972, the concept of cellular network in which cities would be divided in smaller land sections called cells, each with a transmission tower, was gaining traction. Your call would be transferred from one tower to another as you went from cell to cell.
But then, in 1973, Motorola engineer Martin Cooper showed what the future would look like, the Dynatac 8000X. Based on Bell's cell network concept, it was the world's first handheld cell phone. 10 years and a $100 million investment later, Motorola finally released the phone to the public.
I'd like to order a large pizza with mushrooms, anchovies, and the hottest peppers you can find.
The decade-long delay was caused by the need to build the cellular infrastructure the phone required to operate. The phone took 10 hours to charge.
Cooper made the world's first public cell phone call on April 3, 1973, as a demonstration for a reporter calling Joel Engel, his arch rival, over AT&T. Now, Cooper's gambit was successful. The FCC was so impressed that it allowed competition in the cellular business. Cooper departed Motorola in 1983. Since then, he and his wife, Arlena Harris, has their own tech, and they founded a number of cellular enterprises.
Charge lasted 35 minutes and cost $3,995, which would be about $10,000 today.
Industry watchers say there are only a few thousand cellular phones in use right now, but that number is expected to grow considerably within the next few years during the cellular revolution.
Hello and welcome back, dear viewers, to the Upload segment, where every week we get a new content creator to tell us more about their experience, about their stories in social media. So today we have got a professional photographer which travels the world and take photos from different parts of the world and share it with us and with the world. Please welcome with me Samar Hussain. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yep, thank you for being here with us.
That's
And
my
of
pleasure.
course, Samar, we would like you to look at the camera first and tell the people something about you before we begin this interview.
Sure, of course. So my name is Samar Hussain. I was brought up and raised in Kuwait. Kuwait is more like a home to me than India itself. I used to work as an auditor before, but since the pandemic, I've been working as a professional photographer, chasing basically my passion, my biggest hobby, and here I am in front of everyone. So thank you for having me.
And you're in your home, of course.
Yes.
So let's talk about your passion for photography first. And if you have anything else other than photography, again, you can go ahead and tell us more about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think photography somehow came, I would say, a little naturally to me. A lot of people used to say, you know, I have that eye for photography and, you know, I have it when I didn't really know what it was. I used to go about just taking photographs of Kuwait. Anytime I used to travel, I used to, you know, I used to come back with like probably thousands and thousands, 2,000 photos in my gallery, and then, you know, like sit and edit them and upload them, and people, you know, used to like appreciate it. So I used to feel nice, you know, I used to feel like, okay, there's something that I'm putting out there that, you know, people are liking, they're appreciating it. And I think that's how you know, the journey just started for me. I was a complete amateur before. If anyone told me, asked me what's, you know, an aperture, or what's ISO, like I don't know before, you know, I have no idea.
We all start from scratch.
Exactly, so that's how I started as well. And then slowly, and you know, I just like kept working on it, practicing and everything. So here I am.
Nice. And of course, I've seen some of your photos. Of course, we'll be having some photos on the screen for you, dear viewers, to see. These photos were taken by Samar from different countries and places, some cars, landscapes, and also food.
Yeah.
I have a nice profile, by the way.
Thank
I
you,
checked
thank
it
you.
before the interview.
Thank
It's
you.
part of my job as well to do the homework, to get to know more about our guests. So,
Thank you.
amazing job, to be honest.
Thank you.
And I like
Thank
the photo where, I'm not, maybe you can have it, our editor, the Statue of Liberty with the helicopter and the skies and the clouds. It's amazing. Now,
Thank you.
the social media itself, how did it all start, the idea? I mean, okay, you are a pro photographer right now. And then the idea of opening or creating a social media account came next, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So let's talk about that.
So like I said, I used to travel quite a lot. I was, you know, fond of traveling. Like these would be my biggest hobbies, you know, traveling and, you know, taking photographs. I'm mostly on my phone just trying to take inspiration from, you know, all the other photographers and travelers across the world. And just the kind of edits they're doing, the places they are, you know, I'd always think that, okay, if I go to, for example, London, I want to be in front of the St. Paul's and, you know, like take that kind of a shot. If I go to California, I want to be over there. So that used to like always keep running in my mind. So I started like just working on my profile. A while in between, I created like a food blog page of myself, for myself as well. I used to go to a lot of cafes and restaurants, you know, so I used to take a lot of photos over there. So that came up, like I created like a separate page for that, just to, you know, like go about every weekend where you can go, where you can have new coffee, etc. So all of this somehow started like giving me a bit of that confidence and more enthusiasm that, you know, there's more that I can kind of do. And then came the pandemic. You know, everyone sat at home. Like I said, I used to work as an auditor, so my life used to be, you know, 9 to 5 work, you know, probably go to the gym, come back, spend some time with the family, go to sleep basically. But with the pandemic, everything, you know, everyone just sat home.
Yeah, you got so many
ultimately.
things to do, yeah.
I had so much time, so I got really deep into photography. You know, I started learning more about it. You know, watched a lot of videos. I finally bought a camera for myself, a professional camera.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yes, and I remember my mother was like, "Samar, you know, why are you buying a camera? What are you gonna do with? You know, it's a big investment because camera,
Yeah,
the
they're
lens,
expensive,
and,
yeah.
you know."
I mean, I think the lens is more expensive than the camera,
Yeah,
right?
a lot of times, you know, it is more. You have like 1000 KD lenses, you know. So, but I was like, you know, Mom, just, you know, let me do my thing. Like, let me just get into this. And then, yeah, that's how it all started. You know, it just like started falling into place. I somehow got my first project with a restaurant. It was a burger restaurant that I was working with. So I created their menu.
The menu.
shots.
Yeah, I also saw some photos for
Yeah,
menus.
so that happened. Then I knew some people, some really good close friends who helped me out, who were working in car companies. So they helped me get, you know, cars from their agencies. companies, and these are like good companies, good cars. So their team trusted me with their car. So that's when I got like my first chance to kind of showcase what I can really do.
And of course, I think they trusted the quality of photos you would show them.
Yes. So somehow I would say like my path of like traveling, taking photos, and the food blog that I did, and my own interest just like started growing more. So to a point that I'm here now. Like I know that okay, if I were given like a project to work on cars or like create a menu for a restaurant, I can do this, and I know what I can bring to the table. Alhamdulillah. So it's been a good journey, a very exciting journey.
It's a lovely journey, as I can hear from you. And of course, I really would like to know more about the stories behind the photos that you take and all these kind of things. But before we get to that, you said that your mom was surprised for you purchasing such expensive equipment. But who supported you during this journey? I'm assuming it's not your mom for now.
I mean, no, of course, yeah. In the start, she was very doubtful. She's like, "Khalas, you'll have to return it," and I was like, "No, please, just hold on. I need to give this a chance."
I'm sure she's proud right now.
Oh yes, of course.
Shout out to.
Of course, yes. Thank you so much. But I think the biggest supporters would be, like I said, the friends who initially helped me out. If it wasn't for their word that they put with with their departments, with their teams, that there's this guy who's interested do a photo shoot for the car. Those kind of like things gave me a lot of boost, because when I gave them the results, the deliverables at the end, they were quite happy with it. They were pleased with the results. Gave me some confidence that okay, I can do something to create content. Because as we know, it's been growing now in Kuwait. Like a lot of these car agencies, they want local content. Across the world, of course, everyone's using whatever their primary headquarters back, let's say in Germany or Sweden or wherever they're sending it from. They're using that. But in Kuwait and in most of the Middle East, they want more local content. They want their cars, they want, the Kuwait in the background. They want to showcase, like details of the car. Even for like restaurants as well, they want to showcase, their foods, the little details, everything. So it was that initially, gave me that confidence, the support from my friends, that they risked their name, just to give me the car for like a day or a few hours.
And the chance to do so.
Yes. So I would say that would be like the biggest support I had. There were other few photographers that I came across. They really helped me out as well. How lenses are expensive. So initially when I was starting out, I would, borrow from like a few friends. I would ask them, hey, can I have, this lens for a particular shoot that I have? Or I remember a friend of mine, he used to rent me lights. Not rent me, sorry, he would just give it to me.
Just lend it to you.
Take it from me, for like a shoot or whatever. So these kind of supports like helped me big time. It helped me practice at home, go out, do some shots and everything.
Such a beautiful story.
Made a big
You can write a book about that.
I wish I could.
A successful story behind a professional photographer. That would be the title.
No one would buy it, but I wish I could write it.
I would read it.
No, thank you.
But no, that's actually really. I mean, I kept on listening. I wanted to listen even more, but I don't want to, run out of time before asking some more important actually questions.
Sure.
Now regarding like being a photographer, I know this question, like we spoke about this before recording this. Like sometimes the quality of the camera or the equipment is not as important as how you use it, how you use the camera.
Right.
So what's your take on that? I mean, I could, for example, to make it simpler, I can have, let's say you can have a mobile, and I can have this expensive camera, and you can actually take a much like professional photo from the phone, and it's much better than the camera that I have.
Yeah.
It all depends on the guy who uses the. So what's your take on that?
I completely agree. However, just to like before I actually get started, yes, there can be a bit slight difference that if someone takes it from, let's say, a phone for the very big expensive camera, there is a slight difference. But a lot of times people ask me, hey, Samar, which camera are you using? How many lenses do you have? Which lens did you use for this shoot? And I tell them that when you're starting off, you need like a decent camera. You don't need the most high scale, upscale one. The most expensive, going in 2000 KD or something. You can start out with something that's 300 KD, 200 KD, whatever. And lens also, you don't need 6-7 lenses. Yes, there are many photographers out there who probably have like 6-7 lenses. They do like tutorials showing my travel bag. I have the 50mm, 200mm, this, that. When you're starting off, you don't need any of those. When you start off, they always recommend use the 50mm 1.8 or 1.4.
50 is like the wide one,
the smallest
right?
one.
Small,
yeah, it's like a prime lens. And I used that for the starting half of like my journey. A lot of the shoots for either food or cars, even portraits. I did like one of my most, I would say, like likable modeling kind of shoot that I did, capturing models, all with the 50mm. The results came out great. So it's all about, you know, the kind of eye that you have, the kind of vision that you have. And of course, in post-production is, you know, the most important, you know, the way you're editing. You can take the best shot, but if you edit it terrible, you know, the results are going to be terrible. No one's going to, you know that, oh, this was shot for like a Sony AR4 or, you know, a Canon R5 or something. No one's going to care because your editing was terrible. So all of that plays a big role, especially when people start off. I tell them, don't worry about, you know, a very expensive camera or having 5 lenses.
So it's like half, photo and edit. You have to be skilled, and
of course,
these are the qualities that people should have to be like decent photographers.
Definitely.
Now, speaking of editing, I've also saw one of the photos of a train.
Yeah.
You in front of the train and taking this shot, and of course there are some edits, like the trail of the train, I think.
Yeah.
Like, can you? I mean, we will have this photo out here or there. Sure. Please tell me this story about the photo, because I really need to hear this.
Sure, thank you. So I was basically in California. There's this street called the California Street. It's one of my favorite streets to photograph because it basically starts, California is all hill, right? So it starts from all the way on the top, goes all the way down and keeps going. And you know, at the end you see like this, the Oakland Bridge over there. So it's a very beautiful shot of a very long, elongated kind of like in a stretch of a road, and there are trams running up and down on both sides. So the entire time I'm walking, I would somehow keep missing, you know, because I'd hear the bell and the tram was like coming too close, and I'd take like side shots of it. And so finally I saw it towards the end that there's a tram coming my way. So I just stand in front of it in the middle of the road. I'm looking left and right. I was like, I don't care who says what, you know, it's my moment right now. So I stand right in the center, and I'm trying to be in as center as possible, and I'm taking the shot. And the tram's like just coming towards me, and you know, they start ringing the bell that, you know, like move out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm so sorry, I'm just taking, and I'm just like, you know, taking them, and I'm just like capturing, and I'm just, okay, I got it, and I just like moved out, and the tram just like passed away.
Wow.
And then I came home and I started editing, and then I did like one edit where it's just like color graded and, you know, a bit of retouches and everything, but I was like, no, you know, there's like more potential to this shot. So I went into Photoshop, you know, added like a bit of like a rolling effect that as if, you know, it's coming to me like really high speed. So it's just, you know, like I said, it's all about, you know, the eye, the vision that you kind of have. So yeah, that was the story about
the most important part that caught my attention, the title or description of the...
Some shots are worth the risk.
Worth the risk. that was worth it. I really liked the photo. Now let's focus a little bit on social media and the feedback of the people and the comments on your photos, on the work that you have. How would you reply to those who, let's say, send you some negative comments or positive? What's your take on that?
I've always loved asking feedback for my photos, even when I like started back then. I used to kind of, before uploading a lot of the shots, I would ask my friends if I'd be like around them, hey guys, you know, what do you think of this, you know, the edit or the shot? I would ask them, do you think it's something that you would say, you know, it's off the internet? Is it that quality yet? And they'd be like, no, Samar, you know, it still needs more work. It's not all the way there. It's good, but based on your question, it doesn't look like, you know, someone got it from the internet yet. So I still love that kind of feedback because, you know, photography, again, at the end is very subjective. Everyone has a different vision, you know, the way you edit. I would like maybe different kind of color scheme. I like dark and moody, I like dramatic. You can like maybe bright and airy more, you know. So it's all very different. But
that was like the perspective of, sorry to cut you off, that was the perspective of your friend.
Of my friends, yes.
I want the perspective of, let's say I would just go to your profile right now without you knowing it's me and sending a very negative comment. Like you should stop taking shots. You should stop photography. Would that put you down, or would you just ignore and continue? Or how would you react to that? I mean, this comment precisely made so many content creators stop.
Really?
Yeah, of course. Wow. It's depressing when you see someone tell you should stop doing this.
No, definitely.
And that's why the whole social media, I mean,
I know.
You can't control it.
Yeah. I think it would take me back a bit if someone told me that, you know, hey, you know, this is a terrible shot. But for me to kind of like see if I can justify that, I would go into that person's profile and I would see if that person themselves have any idea of photography. Because there have been, yes, times where someone who's taking like terrible shots or just photos of themselves only, reply to me, hey, there's nothing great about this photo. Why are you, bragging about it or whatever. I should be like, I don't really care what, you have to say to me, because if a good photographer says that, hey, Samar, this is not a good shot, I would like really reconsider it.
Of course,
I'd be
yes,
like, okay, there's definitely a gap that I need to fill. I definitely need to start, learning more. I need to like practice more. There are times where I have reached out to professional photographers here in Kuwait.
Of course, ask for their help and the details and why you can get more information about.
And I've asked for their feedback. That hey, you're great at this kind of photography. It's my first time. What do you think? And they provide me, good feedback that you can do this less, do that more, and it's helpful.
Yes, this kind of feedback is required for everyone who would like to start the journey of content creation, whether it's photography, being a YouTuber, a vlogger, anything else, even a musician. It can be anything.
Yeah.
So, I'm really happy to have you here with us and talk more about the stories that you have. I'm 100% sure that you have way more stories to talk and tell us more about, but unfortunately we have run out of time, and this is almost the end of this segment. So before we conclude, again, look at the camera and tell the people an advice regarding photography, let's say, or anything else in social media.
Sure, I would just like to say, anyone who's starting out there, the biggest thing, just follow your passion. A lot of people get into photography thinking that, I can get money, I can get fame, things like that. People will start to know me, I'll work with big brands, but that's not the goal that you should like get into photography. It's all about your passion. If you chase it for like the wrong reasons, you will tire yourself out, and you're gonna give up a lot easier, because you'll be like, oh, I'm not getting money, I'm not getting clients, it's not working out. But as long as you're into it, you don't care about the likes, you don't care about like getting clients, whatever. You're just doing it out of your own love, because you want to create something, you want to put some content out there, and as long as that drive is within you, you'll always succeed, and you'll just grow.
You heard the man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being part of this interview, Samar.
Thank you so much.
We're glad to have you.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you.
The best Nintendo Wii games are portals to another planet. Nobody knew what to anticipate when Nintendo released the Wii in 2006. Now, without the normal controller, instead of having the controller, opting for a motion detecting device, we rapidly learned that you should never underestimate Nintendo's potential for creativity and experimentation, as evidenced by our list of the top Wii games. First, we have Super Mario Galaxy 2 outperforms the original in every manner imaginable, resulting in not only the best Wii game available, but one of the best Mario games of all time. It pushed the system to its boundaries with stunning visuals and some of the best platforming ever, utterly redefining what it means to be a platformer. Even if you think it's too similar to the original game, what's wrong with more of the good thing? Yeah? In the second place, we got The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Boasted a creative art style that resulted in some of the best visuals of the system, as well as masterful use of the Wii Motion Plus to demonstrate that motion controls were not a gimmick. It also made a full advantage of these motion controls, culminating in the best swordplay in Zelda's illustrious history. And now the last game for today is Super Smash Bros. Brawl, because not much had to change between Super Smash Bros. Now the entire game is a massive love letter to not only Nintendo's heritage, but also video game history in general. Now let's talk about the addition of Solid Snake and Sonic Hedgehog. Now they all help to flesh out the game's already extensive character roster, resulting in one of the most pleasant Wii experiences. And now we have reached the end of this gaming segment. We hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe. And now, ladies and gents, we are going to see this beautiful report done by our crew.
Hi there, this is Ahmed Al-Mullah from Kuwait. I'm a video content creator and a social media influencer. This is my home studio where I create my content. A certified trainer, content creator, and a digital marketing specialist. I'm also TikTok's best transition videos creator in the Middle East, North Africa of 2019. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, but my favorite social media platform is Instagram because it is the most suitable app for short videos and it makes it easier for me to communicate with my audience. I hope you enjoy my content and I'll see you soon.
Such a wonderful report. Thank you so much for this. And now we will continue with our next segment. And now we have reached the end of this lovely episode. We hope you enjoyed it. We talked about so many cool things like Nintendo and their games, and also we met an astonishing guest, and also as well we got to know more about the cell phone and the history behind it. We hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe and goodbye.